During the Holocaust, Nazi Germany created an efficient industrialized system of murder. Whilst most people associate this with the gas chambers and crematoria, another method was used frequently, one that was quieter, faster, and chillingly efficient: the neck shooting facility, Organikschussanlage, in German. This method involved a single bullet to the back of the neck, and it was most commonly used in concentration camps to execute prisoners under the guise of medical examinations or administrative processing. The Nazis built these facilities as part of their plan to eliminate undesirables, including Soviet prisoners of war, Jews, Polish resistance members, and other inmates, without the need for large-scale public shootings. Ordinary firing squads required multiple men, open spaces, and could be psychologically taxing on the shooters. The Genickschuss, the neck shot method, however, allowed a single executioner to kill a prisoner rapidly, one after another behind closed doors. By disguising the killings as medical procedures or identity checks, the SS could keep other inmates calm and unaware of their true fate. The deception was key to maintaining order inside the camps. Neck shooting installations were found in several Nazi concentration and extermination camps, including Sachsenhausen, Buchenwald, Mauthausen, Gross-Rosen, and Auschwitz. The most infamous of these, at Sachsenhausen near Berlin, was where thousands of Soviet POWs were killed in late 1941 and early 1942. At Sachsenhausen, the Nazis built what they called Station Z, a euphemism for Zerstörung, destruction. It was a small brick building designed specifically for secret executions. This structure contained an examination room, a narrow corridor, and a disguised shooting booth. When victims arrived, they were told they were to undergo a medical or physical examination. SS guards ordered them to line up outside the building, often in groups of 10 or 20. One by one, the prisoners were led into the room, completely unaware they were walking to their deaths. Inside, the room looked harmless. There might have been a height measuring device or a medical screen. The victim was told to stand against the wall, with their back to the wooden measuring board. The SS officer, posing as a doctor or clerk, would take down measurements. However, behind that wall, in a hidden booth, stood the executioner. The measuring device contained a small camouflaged hole or hatch at the exact height of the victim's neck or skull base. Once the prisoner was in position, the executioner pressed a trigger or pulled a lever. A small caliber bullet, often from a 7.65mm pistol, was fired directly into the back of the neck, instantly killing the victim. The design of the neck shooting installation was disturbingly efficient. It usually consisted of, first, a measuring board. This was a vertical wooden plank with a sliding piece or measuring stick to adjust to the prisoner's height. It looked exactly like a medical height measurer, but it hid a gun barrel. There was also a shooting mechanism. Behind the wall, a small enclosed space allowed the SS executioner to stand unseen. A gun barrel or metal tube was aligned with the measuring slit, often connected to a silenced pistol or rifle. Some systems used mechanical triggers, others relied on the shooter manually firing through the opening. There was also a drainage system. The floor beneath the victim was sloped and had a drain to collect blood. In some cases, a trench or metal grate was built to channel it away, allowing quick cleaning between execution. There was also soundproofing and deception. The walls were thick, and the door to the execution room could be closed to muffle gunshots. Meanwhile, victims waiting outside could hear faint noises, but assumed they were from normal procedures. The body would fall forward or sideways immediately after being shot. SS men then dragged them through a second door into an adjacent room, where the corpses were searched for valuables, stripped, and then prepared for transport to cremation ovens or burial pits. This system allowed the Nazis to kill hundreds of people in a single day with minimal personnel. Reports from Sachsenhausen indicate that as many as 10,000 Soviet prisoners of war were executed in this way between September 1941 and April 1942. Witnesses later recalled that the process was almost assembly line in nature. Prisoners entered through one door, were killed in seconds, and their bodies then removed through another door. Those waiting outside were told to keep quiet, or that medical records were being checked. This method kept panic to a minimum, which was crucial in preventing revolts or mass resistance within the camps. After the war, SS officers and camp personnel testified about how next shooting facilities were used. Anton Kendall, commandant of Sachsenhausen, confirmed that the shooting installation was used primarily for executions of Soviet prisoners of war, and that the victims believed they were undergoing medical examinations. Kurt Ekarius, an SS officer, described the process during post-war interrogations. He said, "The prisoner was told to stand for measurement. The executioner behind the wall aimed through the slit and fired one shot. Death was instantaneous. Then we pulled the body out and cleaned the room." Inmates who worked in the crematorium also gave haunting testimonies. They recalled seeing trucks filled with corpses arriving after long hours of continuous shooting, sometimes hundreds per day. The Genickschussenlager was designed not only to kill efficiently, but also to shield the killers from emotional strain. Unlike firing squads or public shootings, this method required little direct interaction between executioner and victim. The man pulling the trigger could not see the victim's face, hear the last words, or witness their terror. For the SS, this mechanical and hidden process made mass killing easier and psychologically more bearable. This reflects a broader Nazi approach to industrialised murder, to turn killing into an administrative act, divorced from emotion or humanity. When Allied forces liberated the camps in 1945, they discovered these next shooting facilities intact in several places. At Sachsenhausen's Station Z, investigators found the execution wall, the hidden booth, and the remains of victims buried nearby. Forensic examinations confirmed that most skulls had bullet wounds at the base of the head, consistent with shots fired from behind at close range. Bloodstains and structural details matched the descriptions given by SS witnesses. Today, parts of Station Z remain preserved as a memorial site. Visitors can see the brick walls of the execution rooms and the openings used for the fatal shots. The next shooting facilities were only one element of the Nazi killing system, but they reveal much about the methodical and coldly calculated methods that they used. The same mentality that built the gas chambers and crematoria also designed small-scale killing machines and rooms that could operate efficiently without drawing attention. In many ways, these facilities bridge the gap between individual executions and industrial genocide. They show how the Nazis experimented with different ways of killing, testing what was the fastest, most secret, and least disruptive. The next shooting facility, the Genickschussenlager, was a gruesome example of Nazi engineering applied to murder. It combined deception, mechanical precision, and psychological detachment into a deadly system. What made it particularly disturbing is its simplicity: a fake medical room, a hole in a wall, a single shot. Yet this small and efficient setup took thousands of lives one by one in silence. Today these sites stand as a stark reminder of how ordinary tools, walls, boards, measuring devices were all turned into instruments of death. Understanding how they worked is essential, not just for historical knowledge, but to ensure such calculated cruelty is never repeated. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thanks for watching.